Welcome, everyone, to our CX Live podcast series dedicated to today's briefing and customer engagement professionals. I'm Darby Mason-Werner, your podcast host, and I'm excited to be interviewing thought leaders across our industry who can share their experiences and ideas to help all of us improve our programs. Today's discussion is focused on manifestation, the art of defining our purpose and our future. And today, I am so honored to be joined by Liat, Shefer, Ben-Yakov, founder of Masters Academy and the CEO of Masters Creation Group, Ltd. Liat holds an MBA and a BA in economics, alongside advanced studies in holistic psychotherapy, and brings more than 20 years of experience consulting with CEOs, senior executives, and entrepreneurs around the world, including leaders in Silicon Valley. She's a best-selling author, an international speaker, and the host of a long-running podcast now in its 5th season. Throughout her career, Liat has helped thousands of people break through limitations, achieve their goals, and create the life they truly want. She's also the creator of the Masters of Creation method, a 12-step framework for conscious reality creation, which has grown into a global movement. What began as Masters Academy is now expanding into a larger, bolder, international group with a clear mission to empower millions with the knowledge, tools, and practical pathways to become the leaders and masters of their own lives. Liat's work is dedicated to deep personal transformation, global impact, and elevating human potential. Her guiding motto is, live your life as the master that you are. And I had the privilege of being introduced to Liat recently through Sharon Gewurtzman, founder of The Creative by Sharon, whom many of you know through their years managing Amdocs and Palo Alto Networks, executive briefing programs in Tel Aviv. She's a master connector and felt Liat and I would hit it off, and how right she was. I believe the universe brings people, concepts, and resources into our lives when we need them. And what better time than closing out this year and thinking about what we want to manifest for ourselves in the new year than to talk further with Liat. And with
Hello.
that, I will say, hi, Liat. As I mentioned, I really enjoyed chatting with you and Sharon a while back, and just how wonderful that you both met through Shlomi Hester, who I
Yeah,
also did a
yeah.
podcast with. That's really the power of
Speaking of
connection.
the wonders of the universe, yes.
Absolutely, right? And I'm just so excited for our conversation today.
So am I. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for Sharon for connecting us, and Shlomi
Yes.
for connecting me and Sharon, and
Yeah.
I'm very glad to be here today.
Oh, thank you so much. And that really is how it seems to work. It's just this energy that kind of flows throughout, and we all get connected in due time. So that's really cool. And usually I start by asking my guest thought leader to share their journey to the briefing world. But in this case, I was going to ask you if you could share about your business and economics background that led you to found the Masters Academy. I think folks would love to hear about that.
Yeah, it wasn't straightforward as things often are in our life.
Right?
So I did, went to the university, had my BA in economics, and pretty soon after that, my MBAs in management business. And I actually thought that that's what I would do, probably closer to what you're doing
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
And as life takes us to all interesting places, I had a car accident when I was in my 20s.
Oh,
And I was looking for all conventional methods to help myself, which did not help. And at some point, when I got too desperate and was willing to try basically everything, someone recommended I'll try holistic medicine, which sounded to me like voodoo, more or less,
yeah.
because I thought of myself as a rational girl that,
Right.
anything that I can see, feel, touch is real. Everything else is non-existent.
Right.
And but when you're desperate and you need help, you're willing to try all kinds of things. And thank God I was willing to do this. And when I did, went on and looked for it, wasn't easy as well, but was over 20, 25 years ago.
Mhm.
To find someone, it wasn't as it is today that we have, holistic medicine as part of our routine.
Right.
And I realized that there's so much I don't know. Like, I had advanced degrees. I read a lot. I really thought I knew a lot about life and the body and everything. And I realized there's so much we don't know. And especially when it comes to the connection between the body and the mind and the emotions and our story and everything
Yeah.
that we went through is actually influencing our health, our, physical health, emotional health. I thought, I had a car accident and just I had a disc hernia. It's straightforward.
Uh-huh.
But I realized that nothing never is. And there are more emotions involved in my pain than physical aspect. Although I had a real problem that you could see, you could feel, you could,
Right.
but still, anything that I tried didn't help in, as far as shots and medications and all of
Hmm.
that.
Traditional medicine, if you will.
Traditional medicine,
Hmm.
exactly. Um, I would say Western medicine
Yes,
because the
yes.
traditional is actually the Eastern one,
Right, right, right.
which I think many good things about the Western medicine, but it has its pros and cons in some places, especially when it's chronic pain. We don't know much.
Right.
And the
Hmm.
traditional, the Eastern medicine actually has much more information and much more to say about this. And when I realized there's so much that I don't know and people don't know, I actually said to myself that I want to take as a life mission. And maybe this is why I had the car accident and all of that,
Right.
to help people, rational as myself,
Hmm.
and connect the worlds together. And again, it was 20 plus years ago, and people really didn't even know what holistic medicine was.
Hmm.
And along the years when I started working with people, as you said, I learned a lot and had many more diplomas in the holistic medicine area. I realized that I actually create a lot in my life that I don't want, from health issues to financial issues and all kinds of hardship that I went through. And I knew about the secret and all of that. I was still rational, although
Yes, yes.
although going to a different path. So I said, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that, I'm involved with that. And maybe it's just, bad luck and just my destiny to suffer so much." But some part within me said, well, if there's something to this, like there's even a tiny percent that I have something to do with everything that I go through and all those challenges,
Yeah.
I must figure this out. Like I must understand what am I doing wrong or what I need to do differently, because there were so many things that I went through. And I said, well, I really have to figure out if I'm involved with this and if I can do something else. And as a rational person, I learned a lot. I read a lot. I went through really whole methodology and knowledge. And as most people, go through manifestation, sometimes it works. I don't know, when you look for parking,
Ah,
more
parking
often than
angels,
not,
I
it
say.
doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't. And so I didn't really think, it's real or it's something that you can actually systematically do.
Right.
And I was actually looking for, finding purpose in life since I was a little girl. It was something that I always thought of. Why are we here? Why do we need to suffer? Why do we need to go
Mm.
through all of that? And all the words connected along with me, coming from the economy and loving models and modalities. And just sat down and wrote down everything that I learned. And I realized that there are missing parts from all the methodology that I learned. And that's why it doesn't work consistently.
Okay.
And when I sat down and wrote everything, I realized through my personal research, I realized I actually have a model, which is now the 12-step model of the Masters of Creation.
Mhm.
And I realized that we just seem to ignore huge parts of ourselves and aspects of our life. And that's why we don't think it works and we don't think we have any influence over what happens to us.
Ah,
And really, we don't have much of an understanding of how reality works. And when I practiced it myself, and I was already working with people, teaching people for over 10, 15 years, I started applying with them what I learned. And I realized that it's not just working for me. And this model is actually something you can
that you
take
can
into your own
share.
life
Yes,
and
with
share
others.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, I had no idea about your accident as being the impetus for you going through this very deep exploration experience. And, the idea that we are in fact creating our own health issues and financial issues and things like that. Oh, I can't wait to get to the next, part of our conversation to like address some of those. But I also thought it was really interesting. You just said that you were a little girl, and at that point you already knew you were looking for some kind of purpose in life. I it feels, I don't know, for myself, my friends, whatever, it feels like you're kind of in your 20s ish, maybe you've done school, maybe you've done the military, maybe you've done tech fields, whatever. And then it's like, okay, is there a greater something out there and, meant for me? And I just found that fascinating, and how amazing that, putting all the pieces together, writing it down from what you did, that you pulled together this model. And obviously this to me feels like your purpose. Your purpose has in fact been creating this masters of creation model, as you call it. And I would love to, let's start there and be able to have you, start sharing that with our listeners.
Sure, sure. Um, I always say that I was born old and my
Yes.
biological age is just catching up.
Yes, right, right. An old soul. Yes.
Yes, yes, also. So yeah, I was looking, for purpose and understanding why we're here because I saw so many suffering.
Hmm.
I was a granddaughter of Holocaust survivors and we grew up with
Oh,
this.
yeah.
And, we live here in Israel, so
Yes.
problems are kind of a routine.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you look around and you see really so much suffering, so much pain. And I said, well, if there is a creator, if there is something greater, if something created all of this, whether it's God or whatever, we were taught, or some
Hmm.
sort of energy, which
Yes.
is, can do everything or can create everything and created this amazing world, why did it created so much suffer? Like if you can do everything, can you do you
Yes.
really want to create suffer?
Exactly. What a profound question, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I was looking for the answer for, the do we create our own life? Do we have anything to do with that? I realized that suffering or what we call negative is actually a crucial part of what we came here to do. Because the way I see it today, and again, it took me a few decades to get there, we have free choice. That's one of our
Yes.
biggest abilities. That's what makes us different than all the other creature around us, including AI, which we will talk about
Yes,
later.
yes, right?
We have free choice and we have free will. And in order for us to have free choice and free will, you have to have duality. Because if everything is good and all is good around you, you
Yes.
cannot choose. You
Right.
choose
And there's
between
no
good and
comparison.
good.
You have nothing to compare
Exactly.
to. Right.
We always say, how do you when do you appreciate your health? When you get sick, right? Because when you're
Yes.
healthy, you don't see yourself health. You just leave.
Yes.
You
Exactly.
don't even think about yourself being healthy. But when you're sick, you find you realizing that, oh, it's really nice to be healthy.
Yes.
So, and we were talking about financial issues. When do you realize that, you really need money? Money is when you have a lack of it.
Yes.
So we need to have the opposite to understand concept. That's how our world is built. And you can think about everything in your life and you understand that contrast is what makes us understand.
Yes.
And the contrast is also what makes us choose. Because if I cannot choose, if I don't have choice, if I'm always healthy, I cannot choose healthy habits, okay, that
Right.
influence my health and make any impact because there's only health, okay?
Correct.
So when I realized that this free choice is actually a building block in our reality, in the fact the way I see it today, again, is that we were born in the image of the creator. And again, I don't look at the creator as God or anything that we, like this guy upstairs
Yeah. Yeah.
that, looking if we're making mistakes or scenes, but this great energy that
Yes.
created
Yes.
everything.
Right.
And this great energy, and you can call it nature, you can call it energy, you can call it all there is, whatever feels right for you.
Hmm.
And this energy, for some reason that maybe we'll never know, chose to create this world because it
Yeah.
is. Okay, it's here. So
Yes.
something created it. And in the stories, it is said that we were created in the image of the creator. And the greatest power of the creator first is creating and creating by choice. In the Bible it says, well, God created light and he saw it was good, and so there was light.
Yes.
So you create something, you see it's good, you see it's working, and then it becomes part of your reality.
Yes.
And so we are able to look at our life and let's ground it, okay? And on things in our life. It could be our health, it could be our relationship, it can be career, it can be everything that we do. And we can look and say, is it good or not? And understand that we have choice whether or not to continue this path. If it's working for us, great. But
Right.
if it's not, then we have choice to do it in a different way. And for me, this is the path of life. And the way I see it, you said, I'm doing, what I came here to do or my purpose is. And today I can say that everything that I went through, from my health issues, from, being a child looking for purpose in life, and the car accident, and many more things I went through that we're not going to get into this, otherwise we're
Uh-huh.
never going to end.
Yeah.
All of that were part of my journey, seeing what's not working, making a conscious choice that I don't want to live like that and change it. And that's why I'm a great teacher, if I can humbly say, because I had to learn how to undo or stop doing what I was doing and was creating everything I didn't want. I always say I was a great manifester and I
Yes.
manifested
Just in the wrong
everything I
way.
didn't want.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's a great teacher.
Yes.
If you're doing something wrong, you have to fix it and you have to change it. You learn so much along the way.
It
Because
gives you
if
that
something is
comparison
natural
that,
to you,
yeah.
you don't know how to teach it to other people because this is who I am. But if it's something that you had to learn and unlearn and undo and redo it, then you learn so much along the way. And that's why I can today teach this because everything didn't work along the path.
Wow. Yes, that it all makes sense to me. And the idea of the duality, and I completely agree with that, especially the health thing, and it just made COVID come to mind, and the fact of COVID and the realization. And I think that maybe a number of folks, I know for myself and my family, um, just recognizing certain habits and things that, maybe we weren't so good at before, that we've, brought into our daily lives now. And, those are choices, and those choices over time become habits, and there we are. It's in some strange way, there was a positive that did come out. There was a lot of pain and suffering then, but there was also some positives, I think, that came out of that. Um, so With that, can you then talk us through like the piece? I think you said there's 12
Yeah.
steps in the model, and then how do you move into this manifestation of that through that model? Um, yeah, just kind of reframing, like you said before, I was thinking, oh, voodoo and whatnot being, the Eastern side of things. And I'll say I've also been in situations where I have found Eastern medicines were the way to go and work in order for me to be able to get pregnant. And I went through IVF and all of that. But the being able to do acupuncture and other things to help create or manifest a child, there's a lot to that. So anyways, I digress. Yeah, if you could walk us through parts of your model, that would be fabulous.
Sure, sure. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I won't go through all the stages, but we'll
Right.
start with the big picture and
Conceptual.
then we'll go
Yeah.
through some of them. So I would even start with some things that we think about manifestation, and me included, when I was again investigating and researching. Is most people when they talk about manifestation, they talk about mantras and
Yeah.
creating a vision board and mumbling a few sentences and
Yes.
listening to some sort of music, and everything the castle will manifest in your house,
Right.
and your dream partner will just show
Show
up
up.
as the pizza
Yeah.
guy or whatever. It doesn't work like that. Okay, let's put this.
Nice.
That's
Set some
not what we do.
boundaries here. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I like, I like mantras sometimes. I love meditation,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
not the essence. The essence is understanding how we are built, what is influencing ourselves. It's the deepest process you can go through because it just touches everything in our life. So
Yeah.
for me, manifestation is not about this. Okay, so let's
Yes.
go. What it is. Okay. So first, the model is built from the four realms of life, which is the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And I will say a few words about each one. The physical is our habits, what we do, our actions, as well as our a neurological system.
Okay.
Okay, our
Yeah.
body. Okay, because body is physical.
Yes.
And part of the change that we have to go through when we want to create a different reality is actually rewiring our neurological system, our nervous system,
Yeah.
to the new reality because the nervous system is built for our current reality.
Yes.
It's
It's adjusted to how
biology.
we've been being. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's the amount of chemistry we have in our body. It is related to how our mind is working. Our everything in our body actually is connected.
Yeah.
So this is the physical realm, which in other than the nervous system, most of us are more or less busy at, which, it's what we do, is our actions. The more you do, the more you create, massive actions, massive result, practice makes perfect, all of that. We
Hmm.
usually just get stuck in the physical realm.
Yeah.
But that's just actually in the model, it's the last level. Okay, it's the
Oh.
actually the one that creates the least
Oh, wow. Okay.
result, especially when the others are not aligned.
Okay.
The second one is the emotional, which is, it's our emotions, okay? It's our fears, what makes us happy, what makes us sad, what makes us tick. It's everything from, all the emotions we've been through our life and how we were wired from little children, and
Hmm.
some of it, we learned from our surrounding, for our environment, from our parents and teachers.
Yeah.
And emotions are actually a great part of what is influencing what we can and cannot, let's not say manifest, okay? Let's just say
Uh-huh.
what we can and cannot live through in our life. Because if you want to make a change, okay, and you are afraid of it, okay,
Yes.
or you feel that it just something that it's impossible for yourself, it won't work. Okay, I saw
Exactly.
One of my one of the things I was doing was actually working with people losing weight from
Uh-huh.
the inside out, not with diets, not with menus, but with an inner work. And one of the things I realized is that people are afraid of losing weight. They are afraid of being too attractive. They are afraid of all kinds of different things, and they do all the right things. They, or eat the right things. They do the right diet, but the weight just doesn't leave, and they cannot lose weight because there's so much fear reaching the the
Wow.
the number that they want to reach. One of the things that I saw over and over again, people that they say, I reached to a certain number on my scale, and when I reach this number, I gain back the weight. Like there's this trigger within them
Yeah.
that
Wow.
every time they reach, and anyone who ever had a diet is familiar with that.
Hmm.
And it has to do with our fears more often than not. So our emotion part is really, really important. We are afraid of being too successful, too rich, too seen, okay?
Wow.
And this is part of our protection mechanism. And if we are not familiar with that and we're not working with our emotions, they will take the steering wheel and just shift our reality to a different place, although we are doing so-called all the right actions, all the right steps, all the
Hmm.
right things.
Hmm. Yeah.
The third one is the mental, which is our belief system. It's our paradigm. It's what we believe is possible for us or possible in general in the
Hmm.
world as a concept. And what we believe is possible and not possible for us or in general is definitely, influencing what we think we can or cannot achieve. Okay.
Right.
And again, you can do all the right things, but if you don't believe it will work, it won't work. It just won't
Sure.
work. And
Exactly.
we
You can
all
get in
saw
your
that.
own way. Yes, you get in your
Exactly.
own way. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have to familiarize ourselves with our belief system, with what we think is possible, with what we think about ourselves. Sometimes when I work with people and we realize that some sentence some teacher told them when they were 8 years old is still working within them and
And holding them
influencing the
back.
result.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Although, again, they're doing all the right things. So you have to understand, what's in there, what is hiding in your belief system, in your subconscious. And the,
Yeah.
the fourth level is the spiritual, the energy level, which include, the reality around us, the creation, nature, whatever. As I said, we're not here alone. We are part of this nature that is creating with us. And so that's actually where the model starts because that's the most important energy or the strongest energy,
Ah.
which most of us are not even familiar with. And most of us, learned about God as, in religion class. And
Mhm.
most of us don't even, believe in that. And I would say even people who are religious are not understanding the concept of working with the energy that created all there is.
Ah.
Um, and the other part in this level of energy and spiritual is a life purpose, which we
Yes.
started talking about before that. And the other one is our core values.
Right.
And the life purpose is actually before we even go to what we want, because when we talk about again manifestation creating what you want, we start thinking what do you want, right? That's the first question. Okay, so what do you want? Do you want a car? Do you want a partner? I go way before that because some of us are trying to create or are trying to achieve in our life things that were not meant for us. Not because we're not able. Like, I believe that, if you have a really deep wish within you, a really deep dream within you, it's there to be created. But some of us are trying to achieve things that we were told we need to, like, the having the first degree and the second degree and the good
Yes.
job and
Yes.
getting married at a certain age and having a certain number of children. And not because we stopped for a moment and thought if it's right for us or not, but just because that's what people do,
That's
right?
just what
That's
everybody
what's
does. Yes, exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
So if you start asking yourself what you want from this level, like you don't even know yourself, you don't even know what do I want? Like
What
if there was
personally for you, just for you.
for me,
Yes.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. If there were no one around, nothing to achieve, no society to, impress, just me, myself, and I,
Yeah.
what is my deepest purpose? Why am I here? And you, Darby,
Yeah.
you talked about, how your just a passion for connecting people and creating surroundings and all of that came to what you're doing today. But it's not like, okay, this is the best job and this is what pays more and this is why
Yeah.
I'm
Nothing
trying
about
to do
that.
this. It was just connecting what you were doing naturally, what you love doing because that was who you are. And it was created into this, what you're doing today, this breathing and customer relationship and all of that.
Right.
And Sharon, who introduced us, is exactly the same. She was doing all kinds of things, but she knew that what comes naturally for her is connecting people, is being a
Right.
super connector.
Hmm.
So before you even ask, what do I want? Who am I? Which
Right.
is a question we never stop and ask. No one ever asks us, who am I? I am Liat and I have, a degree and I am married. That's not who you are.
Right.
That's not who you are. That's, your titles. That's what you achieve, but that's not who you are. And when you stop and ask that, you realize, oh my God, like who am I? What is my deepest passion? What do I just enjoy doing for just being? We don't
Right.
stop and ask. So we start there. And after that, we go to our core values is what is important to me. And that comes out of my purpose, out of who I am. What are my core values? I also call them the vibration, the main vibration that we hold because all of us, when we come into a room, we create something just from being, just from
Yeah. Our own
being
energy.
present.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And we need to understand what is this energy that I bring into the room and what is important to me. Because this is again one of the reasons people are not succeeding in achieving what they want. Because if and it's true, my personal core values are freedom and family, love and family, and abundance, okay?
Uh-huh.
Living abundantly, not necessarily only money, but in many different ways. And I tried to build a business that was taking my freedom, that was taking a precious time with me and my children.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
wouldn't work because there's a conflict between your core values. And it doesn't mean that you need to give up, like, your dream to have a successful business, but you have to find a way it would work with your core values. And
Exactly. Have
again,
that be
most of us were
aligned.
taught it's not even possible. You need to
Hmm.
pay the price.
Hmm.
We all heard that at some
Yes.
point or another.
Yeah.
So when you realize that and you understand your core values, you say, okay, I want to achieve this, but not on the price of the other thing that is really important to me. And you ask yourself, okay, so how does it work together? And you'll find a way. That's the magic. You'll find a way, but you have to start even, with the understanding that you're even looking for a way for all of it to work together. Because if my family is really important to me and my freedom as well, the fact that my business doesn't succeed is actually working for me, not against me, because it's making sure that what's really important for me not get hurt. But I don't see
Yeah,
it this way. I
remains the
see
primary
exactly.
focus or yeah, outcome or goal for you. Yeah.
Exactly. And what I see is me trying, doing, being very busy, investing money, investing time, going to all kinds of consultant to help me build my business or, whatever everybody is doing, or trying to, get promoted at work, and I
Mhm.
get no's, and things don't work. And I say, well, what's wrong with me? Why isn't it working for me? What am I doing wrong? And it's actually not even that. It's just your smart system, which is much smarter than what we are consciously know, says, well, you don't really want to pay the price of your kids or the price of your freedom. So
Mm.
that's why it doesn't work. But if you're not familiar with that, you will never find out that this is the reason, and you'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing on the wrong, barking on the wrong tree,
Yes.
just because you think this is how it should work, because this is how it works for everybody, or supposedly working for everybody.
And you
So
mentioned smart system. Is this another, is this a Liat term, a smart system?
yeah,
With I just,
I believe that, our system is much smarter than we think we are.
yeah, our internal selves, that,
Exactly,
yes, that
exactly.
know the knowing, I guess,
No,
within
exactly.
us. Well, and it's funny because, like you say, like The Secret, put out in the universe what you want, and the law of attraction and all of that, and I believe that's possible and whatnot, but it's funny in hindsight, not in the moment, but it's funny in hindsight to think, oh, I really wanted XYZ at this particular moment in my life or at that time. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen in that way, but it led to something else that then is that fulfillment that you're looking for. At the moment, it's like you're so upset and you're so disappointed, um, and sad and everything else that goes with that. Whether it's relationship or work, a role at your job or whatever. Um, and then, like you're saying, like the internal system, the internalness of us, this knowing piece, uh, somehow followed the path and brought you to where it did make sense and everything did align. I've
Exactly,
I've kind of
exactly. One of the
seen
stages
that.
in the
Yeah.
model
Hmm.
is letting go. And I
Ah.
say that this is the hardest. It's the hardest
Yes,
stage for,
I can
for
get
many
that.
people, because you go through like 10 stages that you will realign, you understand what you want, you put the attention, you put the intention, you do all the inner work, you do everything. And then at some point I tell you, now let go. Because, and
Yeah.
exactly it's related to what you were talking about, because we don't know the way things will unfold. We don't know why it's not working right now, and why we're going through
Mhm.
this path that seems to be far away from where we wanted to go, but
Yeah.
it's actually the shortest way to reach where we really wanted, or which is the place that is really right for us. We have no idea. Steve Jobs said that, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. And we can only be very smart, when we're looking backwards and then say, okay, yeah, that's, like my story when I started. Oh, I had the car accident, and I had this really rough childhood when I was trying to figure out this world. And now I can, say it as a really nice story, led me to where I am
Right.
today, which I'm
Right.
really grateful and thankful for. But it didn't feel like this at the time.
At
It
the
felt,
time, no.
it
No.
was terrible. It was suffering, really suffering. So another part of the model is this letting go, is this trust that
Hmm.
you're doing your thing, but you don't know the entire picture. And you have to somehow find the energy and the ability to trust. And it's really hard for us, especially, intelligent people, high achievers, people who are busy and doing and really in control of their life, to get to a point where, you say, well, yeah, I did everything I could do, and I let go, and I trust it will take me to the right place. That's a hard part. That's a hard place to go.
Yeah, it is the difficult piece. I mean, going back to what you were saying about the four realms and those four areas, to look at, and what are the pieces within each of those. What you were saying about the mental part and the belief, and if you don't believe within yourself that it's possible, then that's a barrier that stops you from being able to move forward. But this doing the work in those four realms and then working through who am I? What am I looking for? What do I what are my core values? All of those pieces and putting that together. And then yeah, this letting go and trusting piece and what you were just saying kind of leads me to okay, for those listeners out there, those perfectionists out there like myself, we are spending it's an amazing community, this tribe, I call it, this community of people who we we are in these roles within these companies, and we're really taking care of people. Like that's what we're doing is taking care of people. But we're so in the details of the day to day and the busy and the this and underneath. Honestly, I don't get to be in front of customers anymore like that. I support programs who get to be in front of those people, but that piece, that inter part of me of the taking care of people piece was so magical. It was so fulfilling and things. And in the end, realizing, I don't want to move up the ladder. I don't want, I really, really enjoyed that creation aspect of creating those experiences. And I think, a lot of us in this tribe, that's what we do. But we stress ourselves out and we go to the very last length and we put everybody else first and we, all of those pieces. So with everything you've said, how can we kind of help us folks who are, kind of all of the same ilk, we're all like this in this tribe, which I think is why we like going to the association so much because we're supporting each other while we're there. It's our own
Of course,
support group.
I
Yeah,
totally understand that. I say I'm a perfectionist in a rehab,
right. Recovering perfectionist. Okay.
recovering perfectionist.
Yeah.
Um, I totally understand that. And there are some things that really help me go through the parts where my perfectionist is still trying to take
Yes.
control
Yes.
of things. And there are a few things. The first one start with actually this purpose and my core values.
Hmm.
Because if you know the purpose and you know who you are and you know what you bring to the room, you know it's not so much about all the things, the perfect things
Yes.
around you, and that all the details and all the persons and all the people that needs to be in the right place in the right time.
Yes.
It's okay. But first is there's me.
Hmm.
Beyond everything, just who am I when I enter the room? And I know
Ah.
this energy and I know the power that I bring by not doing anything, just being myself.
Ah.
And when you know that, just, okay, so first, this part is taken care of without me doing so much, just me being. And
Hmm.
for overdoers,
Uh-huh.
okay, it's something that gives some sort of a relief. And it's really, really important. So first, you need to know who you are. The other part is what works with the core values is, and that's part of the priorities, as you said, we put everybody first and ourselves and everything that is important to us last. And we all are familiar with the image that if God forbid a plane crashes, you need to put your own oxygen mask before you help other people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we can repeat that.
Yep. Yep.
But at the same time, we put the oxygen masks on everybody else until we are out of air and we just,
Yes.
okay, give me a minute, I need to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's not working really for the long run.
Yeah.
You burn out. You burn
Correct.
out. And
Yeah.
if you understand that, I can't kill myself every time, I have a gathering or I have, customers or I have partners coming because at there will get a point that I won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I have to nurture myself. And part of this are anchors that we put in our day that is
Okay.
regardless of, if you're busy or not busy, or you don't wait to be sick or, be in a point that you actually need some sort of anchors or some sort of help, but things that you do for yourself that nurture your body, your mind, your soul, your emotions. For me, it could be the morning coffee, which no one interferes.
Yes,
And
that
I
little
just,
brief
I
moment.
set time.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I set time. My calendar has a time for coffee before,
Really?
meetings and everything. Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
and I start my day that when I know that the first 30, 45 minutes in my day are for my coffee, for my daily writings, for my meditation, for my breathing, and I
Hmm.
don't start my day before that. And I know that I won't have a good day if I will, just let this go
If you skip it,
and
yeah,
skip
don't
that.
skip it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't skip it. I don't
Hmm.
skip it. I just, start my day 45 minutes earlier or start my meetings 45 minutes after that.
Yeah.
So I have this time.
Yeah.
And I have anchors like taking a break in the afternoon, or you just make sure, or having my gym and all of that are part of what makes me feel good, what makes me prosper, what makes me healthy, and keeps the balance.
Right.
Most of us, we wait to get out of balance, and
Yes.
then we suddenly realize that we lost yourself. But when you have those anchors, it really helps you hold everything that you hold, and especially in your community, you hold so many people,
Yes.
so much, so many different aspects of the business, the company. You must take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Really, you're like a mother with tons of kids.
Yes.
With
That's what it feels
everybody
like.
wants something else.
Not only are the briefings our children, but every one of those executives, every one of those
Exactly.
EAs, every one of the, speakers that come into our rooms,
Exactly.
everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So you need to be a nurtured mom.
Right.
Okay. And the third thing that really, really helps me, as again, a perfectionist, in in um, in the past, is intention. I used
Okay.
to work on my presentations and my pitches and everything for like, days and days and weeks. And I still, I invest the time that I need. But even before we recorded today, I set the intention of what I want to happen here with us. And there are two really important aspects of this. First, it has nothing to do with me. I don't think of,
Mm.
if people are going to like me or if they're going to connect with myself and what I bring, because I know first that many people want.
Uh-huh.
Okay, not everybody's going to be, uh, connected and agree and feel, called to listen to this call, and that's okay.
Right.
And if I'm busy of what people are thinking of me, and if I'm gonna, if it's gonna be good enough, if I'm gonna
Yes.
impress some people, I
Yes.
get into so much stress,
Yes.
and I'm just thinking of myself. Okay,
Yes.
so I don't think about this, and it took some practice, a lot of practice,
Yeah.
and it has nothing to do with me. That's the first part of
Mm.
intention. It has nothing to do with me. So I don't feel shame or guilt or good enough or not good enough. And I don't eat myself up that I didn't say something, or I did say something, or I could have said it differently, or I just
Right.
let this go. I just let
Yeah.
this go. That's not mine.
Don't beat yourself
And
up.
the other
Okay.
part,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's really important. For perfectionists, this is rule number one.
Yes.
Seriously, it's not about you.
Okay.
And it takes a lot of the pressure.
Yeah.
And the second part is with the intention is what I want the people who do listen, what do I want them to feel and go through. And again, especially when you have speakers and you have clients and you have executives and you have all of that, what do you want the room to hold? Like, what's
Yeah.
the intention? Do you want them to feel connected? Do you want them to feel understood? Do you want them to
Yeah.
feel protected? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this is what you hold. And you know that everything else will fall into place once you hold the intention. And
Yeah.
then you don't have to say the right things, and or the schedule has to be perfect, because you just know you hold this intention for the room. And
Right.
that changes everything. That's kind of a place to lay back a little bit, just chill out in a little
Yeah.
bit and allow this intention to take you. And again, the trust that we talked about, just know that this is what I put. I know that, I love what I do. The everybody in this scenario is important for me, and I want the best for all of them. It's not about me, and this is the intention that I hold, and all the rest will fall into place, and it just gives so much peace. And again,
It's what you're saying is it just it's so resonating right now because what you're saying about what you bring into the room, like we plan ahead, we plan every aspect. We also know that not everything is going to go absolutely right all the time, so we have backup plans for everything. Great. But the way that you enter the room with this confidence about who you are in this moment, that no matter what happens, like, just I remember, like, you're there, you're greeting, you're setting the space at the beginning of this experience that you're creating and that you've planned for, but you also know, halfway through the day it may go off the rails, but okay, I got it. Whatever happens, it's going to be okay. And and I can't help but think what you were saying about the, setting the intention and the, it's not about me, but the piece about not being good enough, that just pops up all the time. Um, and I think I've said this on other podcasts, but preparing for giving presentations, especially at the GSP conferences, and you want it to be perfect, and you want to make sure that you covered all these things, and you want everybody in the room to walk away with something great, and you want to do all these things, and when you're preparing, but then what I find is when I start talking, and okay, there's the slides, okay, but I start talking, and then people start asking questions, and then you just start talking, and as I've said before, it's like somebody else is talking out of my mouth.
you get into the flow.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. You're in a flow in this space that there's also a pure sense of joy about it because it's and so I was co-presenting with a gal, Kayla, love her to death, from PTC at the fall conference here, and it was her first time presenting. I was so excited to give her this opportunity, and for her boss to give her the opportunity, and I was, we were rehearsing and everything, and I just told her, you know what, you do this every day, everything that you do every day, it's just it's gonna be great, you're gonna love it. And then she had the same experience when she got done. She was like, you're right, they asked questions and I knew what I was talking about, and it was really fun. And now she's like all jazzed to be able to do that again. But it's that knowing who you are, that you can handle it, that I am good enough, I can do this, I've had the experiences, and if I don't have the right answer, and I can say, I don't know, and I will find that out for you,
Yeah.
and that's okay too. But this intention piece, I think, is huge. That both of those pieces for that, that's what we want to do, is we want to create that space for folks to get what it is that they came. And mind you, there's a lot of preparation around that to understand from the salespeople or from your partner, whoever that's bringing those folks in, because you want them to have the very best experience. But it, you also are walking in there as an advocate for them. So if they need something else that you didn't know ahead of time and you can make happen for them, okay, that's in your power. You can do that too. So I love this. I think folks listening are being like, oh yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, and that's and these are exactly the tools to help you get into this flow. The way
Yeah.
I see this flow or being in our zone is that when our highest part of us, our highest self, whatever you call it, the part of us that knows who we are and what we do, and is the
Yes.
genius zone, just
Yes.
gets into work. And when you do all those things, and you know who you are, and you know what you bring to the table, and you set the intention, and it's not about you, because this is the ego, this is not the higher part
Yes.
of you. You're
Yes.
just in flow, and that's exactly what this model is helping us to just be naturally in our flow.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's there's no tension there, there's no anxiety, there's no fear. It's just joy. You use the word, it's joy because when
Yeah.
we are in this flow, we just let this lead us and we are
Yes.
not in thoughts of whether or not we're good enough or this imposter syndrome that we talked
Yes.
about. Like, I people look at me as something and I'm not because in the flow, you are all those things and
Yes.
you are not putting outside something that you're not within you because this is who you are. And there's no imposter syndrome. There are there's no fear, there's no anxiety, just knowing, clear knowing and being. You're just present.
Yes. 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 Just being present in the moment is, like you said, it's like a relief. It is.
Yeah,
It's just existing and trusting. It's trusting yourself.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Getting to that
yeah.
point. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was wonderful. Um,
Yay.
and I know before we wrap up, I really you had said something when we were talking with Sharon and we were chatting, and it's the buzzword of the day, the AI thing. But you had an interesting take on that about how we can kind of reframe that also. And I would love if you could share that with everybody too.
Sure, sure. So I'll go back to the realms that we were talking about, the physical, emotional, mental,
Yeah.
and emotional and spiritual and energy. So we mastered the physical aspect a couple of decades, a couple of centuries ago, when
Uh-huh.
we needed to be physical. Okay, if you have enough power, your muscles were strong, you could do more or less everything. And in the beginning of the 1900, there was this, the revolutionary, that the technology came
Hmm.
in,
Hmm.
and that actually created us more becoming more into the intellectual part, the mental part, becoming more educated. Knowledge became spreaded. People learned to read and write, which for many centuries we didn't know. So we really mastered the mental part, the being smart. Okay, and we were
Yes.
paid for being smart.
Yes.
Okay, not being strong, but now being smart.
Yeah.
And what AI is taking from us is artificial intelligence, is exactly being smart because, AI is outsmarting us.
Yes. Well,
It knows things that you can, learn a lifetime and you won't know so much on basically everything. And so, since we mastered the mental part, the intelligence, we ask ourselves, okay, so where do we come in? Like, okay,
yeah.
if this is taking this from us,
What do we
then
do
what's
now?
our work? And that's actually part of what happened in the technological revolution, because people ask, okay, if my muscle power is not needed, then what am I going to do? And we
Right.
can look at the history and say, okay, we learned something new. And the way I see it is this AI taking from us the intelligence or knowledge or already what we already know is taking us to the level of the spiritual and energetical level, which means that we are getting into an era that life purpose, okay,
Uh-huh.
and what our soul came here to do and why are we here are going to be the major questions that we're going to ask ourselves and the next generations. And the
Wow.
other thing that AI is helping us, and it's also connected to this, is when AI started, we were all fascinated, like, oh wow, it can do this and can do that, and people, they wrote articles using AI. And what happened to us is, and it's like in less than 2 years, we all became much more familiar or aware of whether it's AI talking or a real person.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
what we're learning to identify are not words and knowledge, but exactly energy and vibration. And what we're looking for this, again, next era, and that's really connected to everything that we talked about today, is what's going to be important and what we are going to be paid for is our energy. It's our vibration. It's who
Oh,
we are. It's what our soul came here to do, not just our knowledge, not just repeating something someone told us. and teach
Right.
this to people, do with this something, but being authentic, which is another buzzword,
Uh-huh. Yes.
because what is authentic is who am I beyond all those masks and all those facade and all those
Yes. Yeah.
roles that I took on myself in the essence of who I am. And that's
Right.
exactly what we talked about. Who am I when I get into the room and I do nothing? And we're going to change worlds. And I totally believe in that. And I can see it already in my communities by vibration, by present, by being present, not
Yeah.
by doing or knowing or even just, teaching, having more knowledge, because we have an overflow of knowledge.
Yes.
And we were never being so ignorant because you can never know everything, right?
Right.
But, and the more knowledge there is, you know less. Okay. But stepping into our vibration and present, you cannot fake that. You cannot
Mhm.
copy that into a machine. And what we're going to learn is what makes us human. And knowledge is not the only thing that makes us human. Because now we see, okay, a computer can take this over. But our soul, our purpose, our vibration, who we are, free choice,
Yeah.
this is what makes us human. And this is something, at least in the next century, I think,
Uh-huh.
AI is not going to take over. And if it will, then we will get to our next level. I always see that the changes in technology and in surrounding part of the evolution of us as human beings. By the way, we are human beings, not human doings, and we are going to
Yes.
learn how to be a human being instead of human overdoing. So that's
Yeah.
part of what I came here to teach us, and we will be embraced for our being ourselves, and that's what we learn. And you'll see many more people asking those questions. There already are, because again, if AI is already taking over positions and jobs, and people are okay, what can I do differently? And this is
Right.
something that makes us different from machine, from animals and everything around us.
Yeah. Well, and looking at what is our calling? What are, maybe it's the time for that change. What are the things that are really going to fulfill us, and
Exactly.
not be doing some of those kinds of jobs that, you know, uh, many administrative things that are now being handled more quickly through AI.
Yeah, and I would
Embracing it.
even say that more than that, what we talked before about, we're doing what we were taught we need to do and get the right job and the right
Hmm. Hmm.
um, everything, and we'll get into a place that it's, and if you ask people if they're happy with their job, 85% of the people, or even more than that, we would say they're not, but they
Right.
have to do it because they have to bring on money.
Right.
What happens in a world where you don't need to work for money, but you get to do what you want for purpose and joy, and actually expressing your area of genius? And we all have that, especially people who think they don't have it. They have it more
Yes.
than others, just they overlook it because they were taught to look at some other things, or they're perfectionists and they look at what's not working.
Right.
But how does it world when you don't need to work to provide for yourself, but you get to do what your soul wants to really bring your purpose into life, and really feel that you are actually, living a life that is full of meaning?
Yeah.
How does that look like? And we it's interesting that in this age when there's so much abundance around us, we don't think in those terms yet. You
Right.
you don't go to work. Even when I did the change that I did 25 years ago, I was told, if you enjoy that, do this on your spare time, because you will never be able to,
Oh my
really
gosh.
provide for yourself by
Oh,
doing
wow.
this. And you need to have a job that pays well. And I
Hmm.
said, well, but I'm not here to spend my life doing what I don't like to do
Right.
just to pay the bills. And I said at that point that, if you do something that you love, and you're always good at what you love, which goes
Hmm.
hand in hand, then you'll get paid for this. And this is the next era that you're going to get paid, or you're going to get rewarded in some way, because everything
Right.
is going to change, even in our economy. for doing what your soul came here to do. And for me, it's very exciting.
Absolutely. Yes. No, I love that. Um, I'm I'm just, I'm so in my head. There have been moments in my career where I felt I put it out in the universe. I knew this wasn't my very first job in the Bay Area. I asked to be laid off. It was not what was going to fill me then. And it's just interesting looking back now at many different steps in my own journey. Like you didn't plan to have a car accident, that's not something that was in the cards, but look at the path that it led. And, just certain things that I did at the time, not even realizing, and how those led to finding this community and this uh, thing that I love so much. Um,
And you were brave enough to ask for this, to do
yeah,
something that you
I'm
love.
kind of
Many
proud of
people are not
myself.
even asking for this. Yeah,
Yeah,
even, think
yeah,
of, can I really ask to do something that I enjoy?
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes,
well,
please
and
do.
even I'll give a shout out to Leon because I when I joined CX App, it was his idea. Everybody listening, it was his idea for me to do this. I'm like, really? You think I really? He's like, you'd love this. This would be great. You'd really be good at it. I'm like, I don't know about that. And oh my gosh, was he right? I mean, this
Right.
is, 6 years of having these amazing conversations with people and sharing with the community. And, it just lights me up and I just love it. And, I have my regular day job that I love too, because I'm also staying in the community doing that, but
Yeah,
serving the community, it's funny how things manifest in the way that they
yeah,
do, just
yeah.
to use your word. Oh, Leah, this has been amazing. I really love all the places that you took us to. And my head is still spinning on many, many of those things. But I love wrapping up with lessons learned. And, if you could share some last words of wisdom with our folks, that
Sure.
would be great.
So I would say first that I believe that our dreams are here not to torture us, not to show us what's not possible, but to actually create the path for us to achieve them. And I think the way I see manifestation or the creating of your reality is not the things that you create. It's not the house, it's not the job, it's not the money, it's not the partner, not even the kids. It's who you become in the process of creating the life that you want. And that's
Yeah,
exactly what we're talking about, becoming this person so
yeah,
connected
yeah,
to this flow state, to this higher part of us that just knows and just be and be present. And
yeah.
for me, this is the essence of the journey, is who you become as you go through this path. And the last thing I would say, and that's actually part of the model, and one thing that I practiced for many, many years, is being grateful. We
Oh
are
gosh.
after
Oh
Thanksgiving
yes.
and before a new year, and we have, everything that we want and all our dreams and aspirations, and that's wonderful. But we have so much, all of us, and it doesn't matter even if we're dealing with, financial issues, health issues, relationships. We all have more than what we don't have.
Yeah.
If we listen to this, if we are here, we have so much.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So being grateful and seeing what you do have in your life, and I have daily practice of in the morning, during the day, at the end of the day, I say a few things that I, grateful for the day, that I
Mm.
really, really, enjoyed, and that's the essence of life. And Oprah said, if you'll be grateful for what you'll have more things to be grateful for. And
Yeah.
if you won't be grateful for what you have, you'll never have enough. And I really believe in that. And that's a really strong vibration to create your life from. And it's not seeing the half full, it just see what you have. Like, just look at your life and see. And the best way to look at this, I tell people, what if I take from your life, you'll be miserable? And they have such a long list, like, their
Oh,
eyesight, the
yes.
ability to communicate, to listen, to
Yes.
touch, to move, so many things that
Yes.
we take for granted. So all of these are things to be grateful for because it's not, you don't take this for granted. Some people don't have that. So being
Yes,
able to eat, being able to be connected to the internet, all of this is, many people in this planet doesn't have that. So
absolutely.
we all have things to be grateful for, and that's a really good point to start a new year and dream
Yes,
from, not from a
yes,
place of lack, but from a place of being so fulfilled, so grateful for everything that you are, that you've created, that you've done,
yes.
that you have in your life, and start from there. That's a leverage point.
Oh, I love those. Thank you so much. I've really, really enjoyed being able to talk with you today, and thank you so much for making the time to do this and provide these elements of the model of your creation model. It's I think a really great different perspective on things and knowing how you generated it, which I didn't know before we are chatting today. It's just a wonderful, inspiring story to understand as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for our audience and Sharon for connecting
Yes,
us.
and Sharon. Oh, she's
Thank you so
amazing.
much,
I'm
Darby.
so grateful for her too. And and I'll wish you a very happy Hanukkah. And I will wish everyone a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas and a joyous Kwanzaa and just a wonderful time celebrating the holidays and a very, very happy new year. And with that, I will say thank you to everyone that's listening as well.